I think when people are looking at communications from companies around sustainability issues, it's really important to look carefully at the substance and try and see, is there real substance in what's being said here, or are they real sort of bland statements that pretty much anyone could agree with, or which may potentially misrepresent a company's actions. And by looking for those kind of details that you'd expect if those communications did have substance in them, that will help give a good gauge as to whether it's greenwash or not.
Can you give us an example of greenwashing and real corporate concern?
I think it's, there's so many examples out there, it's almost hard to pick on ones that are particularly good, because we see that when companies are making communications around this issue, they will do so for a wide variety of reasons. Sometimes they might just want to be improving the feelings towards their brand. Sometimes they're trying to express support for a particular approach. Sometimes they're trying to reach consumers about a particular product. And so in each of these cases, you can have a whole gradation as to how effective that communications and how substantive those communications have been, as opposed to whether they're at the other end of the spectrum towards greenwash. So it's difficult to give it examples, but I think everyone will have their own personal examples and their own experience to draw on for that.
So is it even possible for big companies, oil companies for example, to show real environmental concern?
I think it is possible for any company to do this and to do it well if they so choose. The first rule of law that I would suggest is that a company in its communications needs to be very honest and transparent and have the real substance there, and that can include talking about the challenges they face. I think people can be quite reasonable as understanding that many companies will find themselves in sectors which are very difficult for addressing climate change, and recognise that a company can't suddenly change fundamentally its business model overnight. But if a company wants to talk about the work it's doing in this particular area, what it can do is it can set out a very clear vision of where it wants to go to and clear targets and timescales for doing that. And that is a more effective way, in my mind, of communicating a company's really substantive response to these issues rather than a much sort of plainer PR approach.